Hey, what's up, everybody? We are live. Hopefully, with all, hopefully everything's working okay. If you can hear me, if anybody's watching, just give me a kind of shout in the chat. Just leave me a message so I know that my audio is working. I know there's always a few tense moments before starting a live stream where you're like, man, really hope my audio is working. I really hope all my stuff is set up correctly. So, yeah, so if I can just get somebody to check in and say, hey, your audio, A-okay. So before I start that, I just wanted to kind of mention, um, it's 2020, the new year. It's, I don't know, a whole new year. This is January 3rd. So every year, what I do with my family is go on vacation. All right, awesome. Sound is good. Every year on vacation, well, every year, that first week after Christmas to New Year, I take a vacation with my family. We usually go someplace. Usually we go to Florida. This year we decided we always go to Orlando, we go to Disney and all that stuff, and it's always hectic. So what we decided to do this year is we've always, on the way back, we always drive through Atlanta and we never stop. We always say, we should go to the zoo, we should go see this, we should go see that. And me being selfish and being me, I always say we should be going to a brewery to check that out. So this year we went to Atlanta down in Georgia. It's about a 12-hour drive for us. 11 and a half, 12, maybe 10 and a half with all the stops, bathroom breaks and all that stuff. It's about 12 hours. Went down to Atlanta, and the first thing, once we got settled in, I went and I said, let's go to a bottle shop. Let's find out what the local stuff is here, because I really only knew a few places. I knew Monday Night Brewing from one of you guys, from a viewer, from Pete Johnston. He said, check out Monday Night. Dave V said to check out one that I can't remember off the top of my head, and then, it's kind of off to the races. So I went to a local bottle shop. I said, hey, I'm from Michigan. I like to drink local. When I go places, I want to try and drink beer from the places that are around. And I said, can you show me what's local to you guys? What's something I can pick up? And they said, yeah, sure can. So I went to Hop City, which it's like a chain. There's like 2 or 3 of them. Luckily, the place that I went, well, not luckily for them, but luckily for me, they were actually closing New Year's Eve. Like, it was the last day this particular location was going to be open because of rent and all this other stuff. Lots of issues that they had just with their specific location, but they were closing, and everything was 20% off. So I bought a case of beer. It cost me about $50. I picked 2 of everything up, and yeah, so these are just some of them. These are about 6 of the different beers that I picked up, and I picked up a few other ones, but I want to do actual like video reviews on them. So if you ever go to Atlanta, maybe you have a good idea, or if you go to Atlanta and you say, hey, you can tell me what other places there are, because maybe I'll go back. So I have 6 beers here tonight. I have, first off, no particular order, just the order that they're laid out here. I have Drafty Kilt from Monday Night Brewing. Monday Night Brewing is, I guess it's a group of guys that got together and they would brew on Monday nights when they started brewing. And yeah, so that's Monday Night Brewing. This is out of Atlanta. This is Drafty Kilt. It's a Scotch ale. This is 7.2% by volume. This was canned. It doesn't say. Actually, I think it does. It says 9/24/2019. It's a Scotch ale. Don't really need to worry about too much on dating. It has a best by date, and a couple of these cans have best drank by dates, which I don't particularly like, but this says best by March 24th, 2020. So that's Monday Night Brewing, a Scotch ale. Next, I'm going to move on to Enchantress, which is 3 Taverns craft beers, 3 Taverns Brewing, I guess. It is a cranberry sauce sour ale. This is about 5%. It's at 5%. It's unfiltered, and they are in Decatur, Georgia, which is just outside of Atlanta. So that's not necessarily Atlanta, but just outside. And this is the other 3 Taverns. I didn't even realize these are both 3 Taverns. This is called the Dirty Dirty. It is a chai coffee milk stout. It sounded really interesting. They're in Decatur, Georgia. Obviously, I just said that. 3 Taverns Craft Brewery, 8% by volume. So I got, so I have a Scotch, a sour, and a milk stout. Then I have, this is from Orpheus Brewing. They are in Atlanta. This is called Atalanta, Atalanta. It is a tart plum saison. This is 5.25%, and they're in Atlanta, Georgia, like I said before, orpheusbrewing.com. Canned on October 7th, 2019. Yeah, this 3 Taverns, they don't list any date. So then we're going to move on. And this is one that you probably have heard of. This is Creature Comforts. They're out of Athens, Georgia. This has a date. This is brewed on November 12th, 2019. Best by March 12th, 2020. And this is Trinonia. It is a Gose. It is, I want to say this is about 5% too. I thought it said on here. 4.5%. German-style tart wheat ale with coriander, fruit, and natural essence. This has the tasting notes, which is pretty cool. Pineapple, lemon, salt, coriander, and that's cool. And last but not least, I guess this brewery, maybe you've heard of them. They're called Wild Leap. I believe that they do vodka. That's what they first started doing. They were like a vodka or a distiller of some sort. And this was named Best Up and Coming Brewery of 2019, I think, or 2018. It is Wild Leap Brewing Company ETA Transcontinental IPA, 7.5% ABV. And this one, I thought it had the hops listed. This is in LaGrange, Georgia. Now, I'm not really sure where LaGrange is. It looks like it is in the north, well, more of like the west side of the state. Not really super close to Atlanta, but I had heard so many good things about Wild Leap, I figured it was probably worth a shot to just pick them up. I will be doing a review on one that they call, I don't remember what it's called. I checked it into Untapped. It was my New Year's Eve, New Year's beer on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, Eric checking in says, 3 taverns, great, so good. That makes me feel better about my purchases. But yeah, so if you look on my Instagram, draft_therapy, the other Wild Leap, the one that I'll be reviewing, is the one that, the one I can't remember the name of. It's like a Volume X or Volume 10 of something. So if you guys have any preference on what you'd like me to try first, I will go in that order. The one that sounds the most intriguing to me is actually this Dirty Dirty, but I want to wait on that. I want you guys to chime in. I think it's kind of cool that the labels are a little different, and each one had a different number on it. I'm not sure if these were like in a series or if it, what the deal was with that. But yeah, so got these beers, got a few other ones. I picked up some Trim Tab, which is also in Georgia. I'm not sure if that's Atlanta or not. Those, I got like a big crowler of that I want to try. That's a New England double milkshake IPA. That one sounds really interesting. And then I got another of their like a bourbon barrel aged stout, had a wax lid on it or a waxed top. So that was impressive to me. I'm easily impressed. So, I'm going to start with this Creature Comforts Trinonia Gose. This is a really cool label. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like Athens underwater a little bit. There's a pineapple floating in there, a mermaid, an octopus with some tentacles here holding on to a bunch of stuff. Playing tonight, lactobacillus, which is what gives us its sour character. Brewed and canned in Athens, Georgia. Creature Comforts Brewing, creaturecomfortsbeer.com. And this was one place that I wanted to visit, but it was just a little bit out of my zone. Like I said, we kind of stayed near the I-75 corridor. I was lucky to get one night out at a brewery, which was, again, Monday night was the brewery that I visited. They had a lot of cool stuff. They have like 2 locations. This one's like a garage. It's a garage location. They have a couple other like bars and stuff in the garage kind of area. And that was just a really cool space. That was on Instagram too the night before. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in. Let's take a nose on this actually. It has a bit of a, I can actually smell a lot of that pineapple coming through right on the nose, so that's nice. You know what I'm going to do before I start? I'm going to flip over here, and I'm going to ask, while I start this, if you guys could just let me know, let us know what you're drinking. If you're drinking anything, let us know. And if you're not drinking something, that's cool. But it'd be really cool if you drank something too, because you can kind of join in. It'll be like a big bottle share. So, what you drinking, let us know in the chat. Oh, Trim Tab is in Alabama. That's what our buddy Tyler's saying. I don't know. I thought it was Georgia, but I could totally be wrong, because this was like the last day of actually being able to buy something. It was like on a whim, so you could be right. So let's open this Trinonia Gose, and that's a really nice color. Really nice golden yellow. It looks like pineapple juice, actually. And Randy is drinking a Me My. Nice. Haven't had it yet. It's like the only Old Nation of that kind of series I haven't had. I missed it last time. We have a little thing going, so Maybe we'll figure it out. All right, so this is Tritonia Sapient Trip. Nice. Lot of pineapple on the nose here. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Look at that. That's a really nice bright white head. Hopefully the green screen isn't interfering with that too much. But yeah, it's really nice and kind of cloudy. Lots of bubbles rising up. Really kind of unfiltered. It's not like a haze on the glass or anything. That's actually, the beer is pretty hazy. I was expecting it to be a little bit more clear. So it's kind of cool that it's hazy. So cheers. It's got a lot more pineapple on the nose than it has on the actual taste. It's like this pineapple-y kind of sourness right at the very beginning, but then the sour kind of takes over. That's where you get a little bit more of that salt. A little bit, I don't really pick up, it says coriander. I don't really pick up on coriander, but the notes of coriander are very subtle on this one. But that right there is a tasty beer. And I had one other one from Creature Comforts. I think it was Creature Comforts. It was called Tropicalia, which was an IPA, and I guess that's like available. I mean, that's the one that I saw, like going to Walmart's or going to Publix or grocery stores or like CVS, you know, like small places that sell, you know, they sell like a little bit of beer. That was one that I saw a lot down there. Scofflaw's another one. I tried a few Scofflaws. But yeah, the Tropicalia, basically Creature Comforts, Tropicalia, and maybe this one, and then Scofflaw was what I saw like all over, at least in those kind of, you know, that kind of zone where you're not getting a whole lot of maybe craft beer. You're getting more of those macros. I'm going to put the can up in front. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so anybody else? If I'm going to move on, I think what I'm going to do next, I'm going to stay in the sour group, and I'm going to go with this Orpheus Atalanta. And this is really cool. We're going to look at the can real quick. This has, I'm going to burp here. It has like a bear with his mouth open, with his tongue out, and some I don't know, some flowers. I'm not a botanist, I guess. It looks like, I guess, a lily or something, but it's got a, that is a bear, right? Okay, it's got a black bear, like a purplish red tongue, Atalanta, native funk across the top, Orpheus Brewing. It says in the hairy, geez, wow, the first beer today, honestly. In the heroin Atalanta, we see the traits of what we aim for in all of our beers. Piquant, deceptively robust, and a bit wild. A tart plum Siason Atalanta, tastes of plums intermingling with spicy yeast, and a refreshing tartness that makes Atalanta as good for pairing with food as by itself. Don't look back. It says Beltline Brewing LLC, which I guess maybe has a part of Orpheus, and this is 5.25%. Magnolia. I'll go with you. Magnolia sounds great. I couldn't tell you. I could maybe like tell a tulip and a rose apart, but other than that, I'm pretty helpless. My parents, they're like, oh yeah, we got these, you know, we got the chrysanthemum. I don't even know. What's the bush? Wisteria. I don't know. Some bush in their yard, and they always get upset when somebody trims it, and they don't want it to be trimmed. So I got a brown thumb. That's not from. Yeah, I just killed. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Don't have a green thumb. All right, so this is yellow, much like this. Geez, I already forgot what it's called. Tritonia, very yellow, just like Tritonia, but it looks a little bit clearer, a little bit lighter too. Let's get a nose on the can here. This one smells a lot more kind of funky, a little bit more sour, more farmhousey. Obviously, it's a Saison, so you're going to expect that. That's something that you should expect to smell. And yeah, let's hold this up to the light. This is also, it's a little bit clear, still hazy though. If we hold it up to Tritonia, it is really similar. I'm going to say Tritonia just kind of narrowly beats it out on the haze department. I don't smell much but that kind of farmhousey, kind of grassy hay kind of aroma. Not a lot of, I know it says plum. I'm assuming I'll get a lot of plum on the actual taste. So let's just go ahead and dive in and I'll get to it. That's really interesting. It has a bit of a plum kind of It's like the fleshy part of a plum, not like the peel, or when you get like a really ripe plum, it tastes more like a underripe plum, like something that's not quite ready to be eaten. It's really got a fleshy, plummy kind of taste, but it's not overwhelming. It's not really what I was expecting when I read plum on the label. I was expecting to be like really in your face plum, but it's still good. I do like the sourness. I like that kind of farmhouse quality of it, and just kind of a good flavor. This is super crushable. Same thing with Trinonia. That's a really crushable beer. Like it's 5%. This is 5.25. It's just a really good flavor. There's a lot of the Siason quality of it, that farmhousey quality, isn't super overpowering. It's just kind of in there. You get a little bit of that kind of grassy, farmhousey, funky kind of flavor. It's got that sourness to it too. These are really similar. I think if I was going more for like, if I wanted more of a sour kind of note or whatever, that's the taste I was going for. I think I'd go for Trinonia just because it's a little bit sweeter, but this is really close. Like they're really close in style. The flavor just kind of, for me, I prefer the pineapple, that kind of sweet, tart kind of pineapple in there, but this is really good too. Has a really dry finish, and that's what's kind of cool, like not something that you always expect. Maybe Saisons are a little bit more on the dry side, but really kind of sucks up all that moisture in your mouth and makes you want to kind of drink another one. Tyler is drinking a marshmallow peanut butter gorilla juice. That is a good one. And I think Randy is not happy about that. All right, so next, like I said, I'm gonna stay in the Stout family. And this one, I got a really good recommendation on this from the woman working at the bottle shop at Hop City. And Enchantress, a cranberry sauce sour ale. If this is not red in some quality, then I'm going to be very upset. But let's look at it. It has a really cool label. It's got this, I don't know, like this, I don't know, nymph or something on it. It's just really nice and red. It's really vibrant and colorful. Pink lettering, Enchantress, 5%, 12 ounces, 12 fluid ounces. 3tavernsbrewery.com. Excuse me. Brewed and canned by 3 Taverns Craft Brewery in Decatur, Georgia, USA. This says on the back, the second of our Sour Elysium, Jesus, man, wow. The second of our Sour Asylum series, Enchantress will lure your taste buds over the river and through the woods into a cornucopia of familiar fall flavors. Cranberry, cinnamon, and clove. Sounds great. A lacto-fermented sour ale. Enchantress is a harvest, a festival in a glass, suitable for any autumn gathering. Wow. I hope this was canned somewhat near today. If you didn't know, I edit these videos. I can't read all the time, and I'm not even that far into drinking. Orpheus. I don't know if I mentioned that, but that's what I got from Orpheus. I do have another one upstairs in my garage, nice and cold, but that's one that I want to do for a review. I believe that's like a coconut porter of some sort, and the person that kind of helped me out at the bottle shop told me that it's not. The reason I kind of want to save it for a review is because she said that it's not quite like that. When she said this, I nodded my head in total agreement, and I'm sure you guys can agree. When you get coconut in a porter, it borderline can be really that suntan lotion kind of taste. I've said that, and I'm sure you guys have noticed that too. Yeah, so that's not supposed to have that flavor, so I'm excited to try that for a review, and I got a couple cans of that. So this is Enchantress, 5%. Let's go ahead and crack this. It's got a lot of cranberries all over the can, and like I said, I hope this is going to be like a reddish pink. Okay, all right, it's pink. Reddish pink, I guess. Maybe more clear pink. In the glass, though, it's a lot more pink. Let's go ahead and put a nose on the can while that head settles down. That smells really sweet. It's got a good kind of cranberry kind of aroma. I do pick up on a little bit of cinnamon on the aroma as well, so that's cool. That's good. It's always good when they say something on the can, it actually tastes like that. So let's get a nose on the glass, see if it changes. You guys do this? Do you smell out of the can and out of the glass, just me, or the bottle and the glass? I feel like you can get different aromas depending on what it is, and I've heard people say, you are the only person I know that does that. I think that's, you know, hey, you get a different aroma. Why not try it? I'm picking up more on the cinnamon now than I was before, and the cranberry has really lessened. So, you know, maybe I'm crazy. Cheers. Just me. All right, that's what I thought. Just me. Yeah, so I'm getting a lot of cinnamon on this. I guess I am getting. You guys are confirming that it is just me. I'm getting a lot of cinnamon. Getting a little bit of a clovey kind of tail end, and on the front is where that cranberry comes through. So good on these guys. Everything on the can is what is in here. The sourness mixes in with the cinnamon. So when you take that first, you know, that big swallow or that big gulp, and you kind of hold it in your mouth, the sourness is on it's not up front. So up front you get a little bit more of you get a really kind of subdued sourness. Then on the finish, holding it is where you get a little bit of that kind of crisp carbonation that kind of hangs out on your tongue. And on the swallow, the sourness comes through a little bit more, it kind of amps up. And that's where the cinnamon really kind of shines through. And the aftertaste is where the clove sits. So the cranberry is like in the beginning. It's kind of all throughout, but it really mixes in with the cinnamon. So it almost makes it really hard to separate the two. Wow. So that's a good flavor. So far these sours have been really kind of been low ABV, right? We have 5%, 5.2%, and 4.5%. So, you know, it's a really nice kind of mild flavor, really nice lower ABV, some that you can sit back and you can kick back and crush. You know, that's always a good thing. It's always nice to have a few beers instead of holding on to the one. Don't get me wrong, holding on to that 20% bourbon barrel aged stout is also nice, but it's nice to be able to sometimes kick through and break through some of these. So now that we've gotten these lighter beers out of the way, you guys are ragging on me about my smell technique. Thanks a lot, guys. So I'm gonna give this a few seconds. You guys tell me which one you want to see next. So these are, the ABV starts to ramp up a little bit. They're not anything crazy. They're still in the lower ABV range. This one is 8%, and I think this is 7.2, 7.5, and then 7.2. So let's arrange these. Actually, they're in reverse order. 7.2%. This is a Scotch ale. This is 7.5%. It is an IPA. This is 8%. It is a chai milk stout. There's something I'm missing. It is a chai coffee milk stout. So you guys tell me which one you want to see. Which one you guys want to see next? You want to see the Scotch ale, the IPA, or the stout? I feel like maybe we should do the IPA first and then move on to the heavy ones. You know, maybe like have a palate cleanser from those sour beers. But I'm going to take a drink. I'm going to let you guys figure out. If nobody says anything, if anybody says one thing, then I'll go with that. If nobody says anything, then I'm going to go in my order. All right, it looks like we have one person to decide. Oh, now it's even. Stout, IPA, and Scotch. That's what Tyler says. Pete Johnston comes in and he says Wild Leap. Man, decisions. Okay. I'm going to make an executive decision here. I'm going to do the Stout, the Scotch, and then the IPA. Pete, I'm going to leave the best for last. Maybe. I don't know. So, what did I say? I'll do the Stout first, because this one sounds the most interesting to me. It kind of concerned me a tiny bit. This is canned on November 25th, 2019. It kind of concerned me a little bit because all the cans at this place, they almost looked like there was something seeping out of the seal. And I'm wondering, that kind of concerned me a little bit. So, let's go ahead and crack it. This is the other 3 taverns. Not a lot of pop on that. Let me just I don't have the scofflaw here, but every scofflaw beer that I opened had this really like just really unsettlingly loud snap when you crack the can, like really like a psht, like super. Whoa! The first time I opened it, I'm like, is this thing gonna explode on me? All right, let's put a nose on the can. I know nobody does this but me, but nose. You guys should start adopting this. Oh, lots of cinnamon, lots of clovey kind of characteristics in there, kind of chai tea kind of smell. Not getting a whole lot of coffee, but that smells really delicious. And that's really dark. Look at that. It's like a reddish brown. And I'm going to say that I will probably get, I've almost poured the entire can. There is no head on that. So I'm going to move Trinonia down. I'm going to move this Orpheus Atalanta down. Move all these down. Put the 3 Taverns right next to each other. And this is the Dirty Dirty. So it says robust, invigorating spice, 12 fluid ounces. Anything else on here? Not a whole lot. Okay. So that's the Dirty Dirty, and let's put a nose on the glass. I do sniff the tap stout, spout, whatever. When I go, I'm like, hey man, can you pour that beer? And I just, like, as they pour it, I let it just go down in my nose, and they're usually pretty cool with it. Wow. So that mouthfeel is really kind of light. It's not heavy. It's like not really even a medium. It's kind of like on the lighter side. It just kind of, you drink it and it just, woo, it disappears. It goes down your throat, and there's not a lot of kind of stickiness, like a lot of stick-to-itiveness like in your mouth. So, but the flavor that is there is hardcore cinnamon, really strong kind of clovey kind of flavor in there as well. The carbonation seems like it's there on your tongue. Like I can feel the carbonation there, but pouring it out of here, there wasn't a whole lot. This is a good beer, but I don't think it. I do taste a lot of coffee in there too now. Actually, now that I'm letting it sit, coffee sits on the back end. It's like a earthy kind of groundsy coffee flavor, but there's so much cinnamon and there's so much clove that it has to sit for a while. You have to kind of think, sit and think about it before you really pick that up. This is like a one and done. I couldn't sit and drink a 4-pack or a 6-pack or whatever of the Dirty Dirty. As I let it sit, the aftertaste that kind of comes through a little bit more is more that kind of chai tea flavor, kind of loops back around. That cinnamon kind of loops back around, and it almost has this kind of bready taste to it, like a crackery but sweet, like graham crackery kind of flavor on the tail end. It's very interesting. It's one of those beers that I feel like you would drink and it would wake you up because of all that coffee and all those really strong kind of characteristics, those spicy kind of flavors, spicy notes. But I don't think it's one that I would want to sit down and, watch a football game. Like the Super Bowl, I'm sorry, the big game is coming up in February. I don't think I would want to pick up a 4-pack and say, like, I'm only going to bring 4 beers to my buddy's house. They're 8%. That's pretty good. I'm going to sit and watch the big game. I don't think I would. I'd be like, hey, do you want to trade me for whatever you have that's not this? After one. It's a good beer, but I wouldn't want to drink more than one. All right, so now I am on to Monday Night Brewing. Pete Johnson turned me on to these guys. Drafty Kilt, Scotch Ale. Like I said, this and Creature Comforts and Scofflaw. I think I missed Scofflaw. Those 3 breweries were the ones, like I said, you go into Walmart, you go into Publix, you go into like a gas station that serves beer or that has beer, and that's one that that's one that you can find a lot of places. They have I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's like Han Brolo, and I think that's like their, oh man, I want to say that's like their IPA, but they all the cans are really similar. They're all just kind of colored different. Gonna go back and I am going to say again, if you've changed your drink, if you've just joined, if you've joined since I asked last time, what are you drinking? Let us know in the chat. Again, this should be like a big bottle share. I want everybody to kind of, you know, bring their own, have a good time, talk about beer. Anyways, this is Drafty Kilt Scotch Ale, and this is 7.2%. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Crack this one open. This was, Monday night was the one that had the brewed on date. September 24th, 2019. It had a best drink by of March 24th, 2019. This should be a dark one. And let's go ahead and pour this. Look at that. That's a really interesting kind of color. It's a bit of a caramel brown. Monday night was the place that I visited. I only got a chance to try one brewery itself, and that's the place that's the place I went. It's a nice head. It's kind of a little bit off white, not quite, you know, dark enough that you'd say it was coffee colored. And holding up to the light, that is I can see through it. I can see my fingers holding it on the other side. It's got a really nice kind of caramel color. It had a nicer. I like the color a little bit more as it was pouring, but it is what it is. And yeah, it smells kind of, I don't know, kind of bready. Kind of, now I don't have the most advanced sense of smell, but it smells almost kind of like, I don't know, kind of peaty, or maybe like, I hate to say this, but it almost smells kind of like kibble, like a little dog foody. That's what I like to say what comes to mind when I smell something, because I like to kind of describe it that way. That's what it smells like to me. So I'm sorry, Monday night, if you're watching. I doubt you are. That's what it smells like to me. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Cheers. It's definitely a Scotch ale. It's got a bit of that kind of biting character on the tail end, like a, what is that? It's, well, I mean, it's kind of Scotchy, but it's also kind of peaty. It's got that kind of flavor to it, but it's really light, very thin mouthfeel. It kind of lingers on your tongue, but it doesn't really do anything that makes me think like, man, I got to go back and have another one of these. This is awesome. I mean, it's okay. I prefer my Scotch ales to be a little bit heartier, a little bit like more flavorful, a little bit more, maybe even like higher octane. This is 7.2% is nothing to slouch at. You know, like I say, 7.2 way back in the day would have been like, oh my God, that's places, they don't have anything under 7. They're going to kill me. But now 7% is pretty common. You can get a lot of everything at 7%. So this one isn't really wowing me. I would have wanted it to wow me, but it's not really doing much for me. Whereas the Dirty would be a one and done, because it's just like kind of this crazy flavor that I couldn't drink a whole lot of. This is a one and done because I'd want to move on to something a little bit more exciting. There's fuzz floating. All right. Kind of a little bit of a woodsy kind of caramel characteristic. Would I finish the can? Yes, I would, but would I drink another? I don't know. I don't know if I would purchase this one again, but I would love to try more. What I had at Monday night was really pretty cool. They had one that I really wanted to try. Oh my, what was it? There was one that I really wanted to try, and they had it in bottles. It was a horchata. And I really like horchatas, but I've only had a few. That was one that I would really want to try again. And yeah, they didn't have that. What I did try was Fistful of Cake, orange chocolate, and I think German chocolate. Those are both really good. I had a brown, it was like a barrel-aged Imperial Brown that was very good. Again, I'm a huge sucker for browns, so anything that says it's a brown is, I'm going to try it, you know, at the very least. But it's growing on me. Let me put it that way. It's growing on me. Would I drink it again? I don't know. All right, so last but not least is Wild Leap ETA Transcontinental IPA. It is a 7.5% ABV IPA from Wild Leap. Like I said a little bit earlier, this was, I believe, voted maybe 2019 new brewery to watch out for, or something along those lines. I think it was Thrillist or one of those places. And on the back it says, born in the sky, brewed on the ground, ETA is a first-class transcontinental IPA that pairs the comfort of a soft, fluffy mouthfeel with the pleasure of a smooth and juicy hop combination. What that juicy and smooth hop combination is left up to our imagination. This has a date. I don't know if I should be saying this, but it is October 21st, 2019. Now I'm thinking that's probably when it was brewed. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say that it has held for 2.5 months. But I will let you know. Gonna crack that open, smell it out of the can. Smells like an IPA. It's got a bit of a stinging, hoppy kind of aroma to it. Let's go ahead and pour it. Really light. Head is not as crazy as most of these other ones, especially these sours, these first two. Trinonia and Atalanta had really huge heads. Of course, I poured it like right down the chamber, so that could have had a lot to do with it. But it is very hazy. It's got a yellow haze to it. I can see my fingers through it. I washed all these glasses before, so there shouldn't be too much residual kind of bubbles clinging to them. It's got a nice color. It looks like what you would expect from like a New England, like an unfiltered IPA. All right, so nose to the glass, I'm getting a little bit more of kind of a sweet, fruity aroma. Oh, is the can transparent? It's almost, I almost wore my green hoodie. Looks like you can see, you know, looks all right. Yes, okay, so I'm just reading back through the chat here, and Tyler says the brewery has a really good horchata flavor beer. That is, it's like XATA, it's Exata or something. Yeah, that's the one that turned me on to like, oh, this horchata beer thing's a thing. That is an awesome. I've had that like years old, way past the expiration date, and it's still always been really impressive. Anyways, back to Wild Leap. So, yeah, so fruity kind of aroma up front. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Cheers. The head has really died down. That's pretty good. That's got a bit of a juicy kind of quality to it. A little bit of kind of this fruity character up front. There is really no bitterness. The bitterness is like whoosh, it's like washed away. It reminds me of a lot of like dirty dank juice from Oddside. There's not anything that really kind of pushes it and sets it apart from anything like that. If you set all these different dirty dank juices, like I have a really old dirty dank juice down here. I don't have another glass. Well, I do actually, but so this is a pineapple dank juice. This is like old as hell. Like I don't even know how old this is, but I feel like if I open this and tried this next to it, they'd be really similar flavor-wise. I mean, maybe not the pineapple aspect of it, but the dank juice part of it, the East Coast or New England style IPA aspect of it. There's nothing in this one that really sets it apart. It's a really serviceable New England style, or they call it an IPA. I would call it New England style or East Coast style IPA. There's nothing that really sets it apart from any other beer, but any of those kind of styles. So you're getting like that, if you've had an East Coast style IPA or New England style IPA, you know that kind of characteristic sweetness, that really smooth quality. There is no bitterness at all. Like, I don't get a lot of hoppy bitterness, residual bitterness, or anything like that out of here. Pete, what is that strawberry IPA from Wild Leap called? I think I saw that one, but I can't remember the name. But yeah, I mean, it's perfectly serviceable. It doesn't really do anything that kind of knocks my socks off. To be really honest, the last 3 beers that I tried were kind of a little bit. I mean, this Dirty Dirty was really kind of impressive with the huge flavor. But the first 3, the sours, were the ones that I really like. I'm not a really big sour guy. I like Goses, I like Berliner Weiss, I like that kind of style, but I'm not like real sours, like the real open fermented Jolly Pumpkin, like crazy acidic sours. I haven't really jumped into that part of the pool yet. I'd like to, but these Goses, these sours are the ones that really impressed me. They not, I don't know, impressed me, but they stood out amongst the 6 that I had. Everything that I had when I was there was awesome. Like I said, Monday night was really good. I love the atmosphere of the place, having like games set up, and they had shuffleboard, and they had just a bunch of really cool stuff that you could, mess around with and hang out with your buds and do stuff with. Truck Chaser. I don't think I saw that one. But the other Wild Leap I had, volume 10 of, was it Abstract something. It really reminded me of another beer, and I'll mention it in the review because I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do a review on that one. But yeah, I mean, all these beers have, it's really awesome to be able to go to a city or a state or someplace that you're not really familiar with, and I poured everything in that one, and be able to go and try all this new stuff. I would really encourage, if you have the means or if you have the ability to go, even just like across the border or the other side of the state, even whatever state, if you're not in Michigan, like go to the other side of the state that you're in. And if they have craft beer, if they have, breweries, even if it's 1 or 2, I think that it's really kind of cool that you can go and try all these different things and try all these different beers from other parts of your state or the country or the state next door. If you live close to another state, I'm like an hour from Ohio. So, Ohio, I don't think highly of the state itself, but, they have some pretty decent breweries. Like, I'd love to try Jackie O's. I still haven't tried Jackie O's. Hoof-Hearted is really good. They do some good stuff. There's places, Columbus has a huge craft beer scene. Love to try Rheingeist. I've only tried a few of Rheingeist things. It's not necessarily about Atlanta, but it's about going to breweries, going to other states that have scenes, even if they're like tiny scenes. It's awesome to be able to go to these other places and try these beers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring all the beers out in the order that I drank them, reverse order from the soonest to the earliest, most recent to least recent, I guess. So this is Wild Leap ETA Transcontinental IPA. This is Monday night. Drafty Kilt, which is a Scotch IPA. This is the Dirty Dirty, which is a chai coffee milk stout. This is Enchantress from 3 Taverns Brewery, and it is a cranberry sauce sour ale. This is Atalanta from Orpheus Brewing. It is a tart plum saison. This isn't the end of the stream. Just wanted to let you know in case you thought it was. And then this is Trinonia. This is a Gose. It is a pineapple, lemon, salt, coriander Gose. All right, so now I'm going to go through the chat. I know that you guys have been really active. I've said it a few times before, and I'm going to say it again. We're going to go back. We're going to switch. What you drinking? Let us know in the chat. I'm going to go back through, see if there's any kind of questions, anything. I have a... toying with the idea of doing something that I haven't done. I didn't advertise this. I know that most of the people that are watching this are like loyal viewers or people that have been watching for a while. This is 2020. The thing I'd love to do in 2020, you can mention this in the chat too. What are some things beer related that you want to try in 2020? Maybe something outside your comfort zone. But in 2020, what I would really love to do is do more like with Rake. With Rake, I did that profile video. I really had a lot of fun doing that. You got to really get to know Josh at Rake. Like, I'd met him before, and he even said, "Hey, we've met before, right?" And yeah, okay. And he used to work at Old Nation. We, you know, when at a festival, I met him and talked to him. What are some things in 2020 beer-wise that you'd like to do? Maybe a state you'd like to visit, maybe a brewery that you've never been to, maybe a style you'd like to try and get into. Maybe you say like, hey, I've been drinking too much beer and I've gained 30 pounds in the last 2 years like me, and you want to start, you know, maybe drinking less beer, maybe getting into brewed IPAs or getting into low-carb, you know, IPAs or whatever. Let us know in the chat. I'll go through that, read those. But what I would like to do, what I'd like to push this channel towards in 2020 is doing more those profile videos, like I mentioned with Rake, doing kind of profiles about local breweries or even breweries near in my area or places I can go that are, you know, somewhat easy to get to, and kind of bring those to you guys, because I think there are so many, you know, here in Michigan, we have over 300 breweries. There are so many breweries that you can go to a metro area, or you can go to an area and not even know that some of these places exist. I would love to hit a few of these places up and bring them to you guys. I mean, I think a lot of it is like an adventure. You know, it's like, oh, I want to go to Snowbelt, or I want to go to I don't know, someplace in the UP, or I want to go to Rare Bird, or I want to go to someplace in Traverse City, or I want to go to Austin Brothers in Alpena, or I want to go to, you know, XYZ place. I want to go to Zealand, you know, their brewing company, if whatever, you know, there's a place. So let us know in the chat. We'll go through it. I'm going to scroll back through the chat. I'm going to drink some of these beers because they've all been really good. And we're going to start answering some questions, or if there are any questions. But I'll be able to tell you soon. So I'm going to go through that. I'm going to start up at the top. And again, thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate you joining. I know it's Friday night. It's not like, you know, it's not Saturday, so there's no NFL games. So hopefully you've been able to go in or come, I don't know, whatever. Watch this channel. A lot of conversation about that. Orpheus. Everybody ripping on me because I smell out of the can instead of because I smell from the tap when they pour it. Let's see, we're getting close. Not a whole lot of chat tonight. And went through the what's your Super Bowl beer? I know a few people have said what their Super Bowl beer. Robert said what his Super Bowl beer is. And I'm big game. Yeah. I think I'm up to date. A lot of Massacre talk in here. I have a Massacre 2018, I think. I think I have a 19, actually. I was just looking at the bottle. What is this? That's a 2018, but I do have a 2019, I think, in the fridge. I'm not opening it tonight, though, because I've got these to drink. But it is Friday. So that's good. So let me ask you guys that are watching in the chat. I haven't had the newest in the Bell's Walt Whitman series yet. I think it's 4. And I saw it kind of briefly, and I think it's an IPA. I think it's a black IPA, but I could be wrong on that. Excuse me. I could be wrong. Is there any interest in seeing that number 4, the black, whatever the style is? I think it's a black IPA. I have a lot of stuff over here. All right, going to go back through the chat. I have, so Holmes did like a surprise stout in their last release. I haven't, I've read a lot about it. I saw a lot about it last week, looking at Facebook and looking at all that stuff. Grusha 6 is talking about Koji Mochi from That's Ascension. So Robert's saying he drove to Florida. He should have stopped in Atlanta for beers. He stopped in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Ohio. Where again did I find these in Atlanta? So Robert, and I know, yeah, he says, I hate driving through Atlanta. It's a pain in the ass. Like, depending on when you go during the day, it can be totally awful. I went to Hop City. They had, you could pull anything that you wanted off of the 6-pack or the 4-pack, whatever it was. They had like, it was kind of confusing because I thought you could only take singles off of, on their racks. They had, the top rack was singles, but that's like if people have already pulled them. You can pull singles off of everything. It's kind of, if you've ever been to 8 Degrees is like this. You can take whatever you want. Singles, 8 Degrees Plato is like, you can take whatever you want singles wise. But with Hop City, I think they have 2 locations now. They have a Midtown location and they have one by the Monday Night Garage. You could take anything you wanted off any of those. And there's another place called Ale Yeah, and I think they're in Decatur, and I think that they had the same kind of deal. Like, I didn't get to visit them because they seemed like they were open later in the afternoon. So if you're driving through Atlanta in the afternoon or in that area, Ale Yeah is a place to check out. But I can tell you, Hop City was legit. Like, they had all stuff from all over the country. They had stuff that I had wanted to pick up. They had some Burial beer. Pete Johnston in the chat sent me some Burial stuff. I was able to pick up a Kolsch, like a Burial Kolsch, which is a hoppy Kolsch, which was really good. Yeah, so that would be the place that I would say. Pete saying that Strawberry Eclair Double IPA, and I feel like I saw that. You need to do a Trappist live stream, Robert. If you can guide me into the right direction for Trappists to try, I would definitely do it. The only time I've ever had a Trappist Belgian beer was at a Super Bowl party, and it I know that not all Trappists taste like this, but this specific one that I tried tasted like vomit. Like, it would taste like if you drank a beer and you got sick and you threw up into the bottle. You put a cap on it, and that's it. Let's see. Randy says, do more brewery reviews. That's the plan. That's what I want to do. That's the whole channel. Like, when I thought of this whole thing a couple years ago, it was to go to breweries, to talk about the breweries, to go and do, not necessarily live streams, but that's like a possibility. But go in and do, even just sitting at a table, getting a flight and drinking the beers and talking about them. That's one thing that I'd like to do, but I'd also like to do profiles like I did with Rake, going in, talking to them, seeing what the inspiration is, and then doing like an accompanying, accompanying is the only word I can think of, but doing a video like that where I can sit and try these beers and say like, hey, this is what it is, this is where they are, this is what kind of stuff they do, and I'm going to try it, and this is the kind of beer it is. The hardest part about doing those is being able to get the time to do it and getting the time on their end to do it too. But that's definitely something I would like to do. Tyler from Review the Brew says, I'd like to do more microphone in 2020. Less beer. Well, yeah, I know. Less beer. Would love to see, yeah. Jackie O's are $4.50 in Indy. That's what Randy says. Trillium was really cool. Like, the way getting Trillium stuff was cool. $4.50, all that stuff with the crazy, the slushies and the weird like ABVs with all that stuff is just kind of a whole crazy thing in and of its own. Randy says, get to Eastern Market. I got to talk to them. They're opening the new place, the old Axel Brewing in Ferndale. The Livernois Tap Room location. They're doing a whole thing now. It's coffee right now until they can get their beer license. But yes, I have to talk to Eastern Market. That's a place that, yeah, I got to try them out. So Grusha6 says, maybe even do these visit videos to really good non-brewery beer venues. One that's especially good beer selections and an appreciation of craft beer. That is, yeah, that's a thing that I've kind of thought about doing. Like when I see, like, so I obviously chase beer, you know, to do this channel, you kind of have to stay current. So you have to, or even like ahead of everybody else. So a lot of success that I've had is doing Hop Slam, or doing, speaking of Hop Slam, I think we're going to see that next week, but doing Hop Slam, you know, Founders stuff that's nationwide, gets a lot of views, gets a lot of people to watch. And when they opened the tap room in Detroit, Founders was great because I could just on my lunch break go down there, go and grab that, bring it back, and take it back. Or 8 Degrees Plato in Detroit is right around the corner from Founders, so it was really easy to go in there after going to Founders. Now that Founders kind of has their, you know, Detroit tap rooms have been closed. It's supposed to open sometime in this year. I don't know how much I'm going to cover Founders going forward. I mean, I probably will, but it's going to have to be something that's really crazy for me to try. Like if they do the Masagave, the grapefruit Masagave they're supposed to do, I'm definitely going to do that. I would like to still continue to do the Barrel Age series from Founders, and I really haven't done much outside of the Barrel Age series from Founders anyways. So I'd still kind of like to do that. But I would love to kind of show the experience of being like in a line for a beer, like Ascension. Tyler from Review the Brew, we met at the Gorilla Juice Day release, just kind of going in there and kind of showing off stuff. And I just don't know logistically how to work all that. But yeah, I would like to do more like bottle shop stuff, especially, I mean, I've only got a few places in my area that I really hit. But that's a definite possibility. And so next, Pete says, thoughts on Founders. I kind of said that. So he says one of his favorite breweries in Asheville sold to Budweiser. Sorry, I'm just kind of getting back into the chat. Pete, what? I thought I read something about somebody selling to Budweiser, but I can't remember. If you could let us know in the chat. Randy says he went to Faison in Detroit. They do their Belgian-style brewery in Detroit. Hop Slam, I kind of mentioned that. I will definitely be doing Hop Slam. That's something I'm going to be keeping my eye open for. And yeah, I'm going to be, I saw that, you know, they don't expect it to ship until after the weekend. I record most of my reviews on Sunday nights. So that's kind of when I am able to, I kind of like to sit down and get all the stuff together on Sunday. I'm an idiot because I like to go into work, you know, I don't know, hungover, whatever, but I record on Sunday. So I usually, if something comes out, I usually go out and pick it up. Hop Slam's one that I heard that they're not supposed to release until, it's not supposed to hit shelves until next week. And they started canning, I think, today. So yeah, profiles, that's a big thing. Thoughts on Founders. And Wicked Weed. I have a Wicked Weed in my fridge. I have a, whoa, what do I have? Bear with me. I'll be right back. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to bring it over here, actually. I'm not going to open it. I will not open it. I refuse. So you'll still be able to hear me. With any luck. Where is my Wicked Weed bottle? Here, it's a French toast. Is that what it is? So I want to maybe incorporate like a GoPro on a wireless signal so you can see when I leave the stream. But yeah, so I picked this up in Florida last April, and this is Wicked Weed's barrel-aged French toast. This is 12.3% alcohol by volume. I don't know if there's a date, but this is probably from last year. Yeah. This is a bourbon barrel-aged French toast imperial stout. And picked this up in Florida. I'm going to show that message. Robert says, still waiting for an Armageddon Grand Cru review. Robert, I've been looking. Every time I go out, I look and see if I can find Armageddon. Actually, Armageddon's not the hard one to find. Man, what is the one? There's one from Dragon Mead that I look for, and I never find it. But I think Armageddon is actually on shelves. I'm going to make a point to find Armageddon, and I'm going to bring it to the channel. Review some beer products. That's something that I've wanted to do forever, and I have some beer products that I would like to review. One being, I don't have it in front. Well, actually, it's down here. I have a Physics. So I don't know if you guys have heard of Physics before, but it's going to make a lot of noise. I apologize in advance for all the noise. I don't even know if I can drag it out of here. So Physics is a system that you can, I can't get it out of here. So I'm just going to have to tell you about it. So what it is this thing that looks like, has a tap handle on it. You put a growler, a crowler, a can, anything, basically a vessel that holds beer, a bottle, and you put it in this chamber, and it uses these ultrasonic waves to basically add bubbles to the poured product, and it's supposed to be just like it's on draft. And I've tried it. I've used it. It's been a while. But what it does is it's supposed to be like you're drinking the beer on draft, on tap, all that fun stuff. I've had this for years. I rarely use it. That's something I've wanted to do a review on. I've also wanted to do a review on using a Yeti, those Colsters, which are like you put a can in it, you put the top on it, and it keeps your beer cold. It's like a koozie, but it's like supposed to be vacuum sealed, so it's a little bit colder, all that stuff. So reviewing beer products, the corksicle, like the thing that you put in your beer bottle to keep your beer cold. It's like a long thing you put in the freezer, and you put it in your beer, and it's supposed to keep it cold. It's not expensive. That's the part that's... The price sometimes on some of this stuff is the prohibiting factor for bringing it to the channel, and I don't necessarily know if I want to replace beer reviews with beer products. So if it's something that, you know, you're willing to kind of lose the beer review to be a beer product, I have a lot more fun drinking beer and talking about it than I do using a product that helps me drink beer and bring you a video about it. Randy says I need to drink all these before I can sign off. I have no problem. I can stream this for... I have it hooked. This camera's hooked up directly to the power source. As long as my power doesn't turn off, the stream can go on forever. Randy, tell us about the Brewmate in the chat. Wow. So going back and drinking these after the fact, and I know that the Atalanta is a Siason. You can definitely tell the difference between Trinonia, which is a Gose, and a Siason after the fact as it kind of warms up a little bit. The Siason, the Atalanta, really that grassy, farmhousey kind of characteristic really comes out. I mean, it gets really kind of, really quite funky. It takes on this whole new kind of characteristic. All right, so I'm really contemplating something. I don't want to tease it too much. I want to do another live stream. I have a couple more live streams that I'm going to be lining up. One is a Griffin Claw live stream, which is going to have just 2 different varieties of the Flying Buffalo. Wow. I haven't even really drank that much in the grand scheme of things. Flying Buffalo, Mole, and the other normal Flying Buffalo, like the 12-month reserve or whatever. So I'm going to do a live stream with that, and they have another beer. It's called OK Boomerang. It is a barley wine. It's like 15% or something crazy. So I'm going to do a live stream of that. And I also have a live stream that I want to do with, so I have these Trader Joe's, like Trader Joe's offers these yearly beers that are barrel aged or something. They're these aged beers. They're done by Unibrew in Quebec. I have one that I've been sitting on for about, I want to say like 5 years at least. So I want to do a live stream on that, and then, so just kind of let you know about what my schedule is. Randy is talking exactly about the Brewmate, which is something, it's really very similar from what he's describing as the Yeti Colster, which is a 12-ounce can, kind of koozie that the Brewmate, you put a puck in, a frozen puck, it keeps your beer cold, or it sounds like you can use a 16-ounce and it keeps everything cold. The Colster's like that. I've also purchased this 3D printed extender that sits on top of the Colster, so it compensates. It allows for 16-ounce cans, and I used it in Florida. It's awesome. Like, it keeps beer cold forever. And he says it was only 20 bucks. So Tyler is asking Enchantress, cranberry sauce sour ale. He says, does it say what makes a cranberry sour a cranberry sauce sour? It does not. I think what they're going for is kind of, obviously, this was done, I want to say this is probably done in, October. This is probably kind of capitalizing on the Thanksgiving holiday. Cranberry sauce, much like Friendsgiving, or Happy Friendsgiving from City Built. I'm thinking it's probably the same kind of deal. I don't think that there's anything nutty about this that really makes it a cranberry sauce sour ale, but, they're calling it that, so. Trader Joe, yeah. Do they do a coffee house collab? I don't know. I don't know if we're talking about Trader Joe's or not. Robert says he's not a fan of Flying Buffalo. I loved last year's. I thought the lineup was great. Tried all 8 of them. We did a bracket, like a head-to-head thing. I thought they were all really good. But I really like the Mole, and that's, if I mentioned before, that's the one that I have a Mole, and I have a 12-month, 16-month reserve, or whatever it is. So I'm looking forward to trying it. I actually bought this year, Trader Joe's did 2. I'm trying to find, they're in my cabinet, like right next to my bar here. They have 2. I picked up both beers that they did. Yeah. But I didn't try it yet. Trader Joe's beer not long ago was really good. Have another variant I haven't tried yet. A pretty good, yeah, the Trader Joe's, those Unibrow beers that they do, the price is awesome. It's like a bomber basically for $5 or $6. I mean, that's a really good price. One's a golden ale. I know that they're both Belgian style, I believe, but one's a golden ale, and yeah, I don't know what the other one is. They have a beer called Terrible. That's not That doesn't sound good, but I'd try it. Oh, Griffin. Yeah, Griffin Claw does a coffee house collaboration with, I want to say last year it was Great Lakes Coffee Roasters or something, and I didn't pick up any of them this year. The Griffin Claw, the Flying Buffalo we got was from Griffin Claw, so like that's the only two they had. It was the Mole, like I said, in the reserve, but it wasn't a coffee style, I don't think. And OK Boomerang, like I said, which is a barley wine. All right, so and Tim chimes in, it's great to try out different breweries no matter where you're from. Absolutely. That's really the whole kind of crux of, or the whole focus of this channel. Definitely, like if you're in Michigan, great. If you can get some of the Michigan beers, I know a lot of people come in, they see the founders stuff, the barrel aged stuff. I know I get a lot of people that watch those videos, and maybe that's your first exposure to the channel. But really, the whole thing is to try local beer. You know, it's to support local businesses, support local craft breweries, to try what's maybe in your backyard. I'm really lucky. Where I live, I have 3 craft breweries right near me. Not necessarily what I would call walking distance, but you know, within like a 10-mile radius, there's easily 3 pretty decent craft breweries. So, you know, it's just kind of exploring that and checking those things out. It's not necessarily about, you know, a lot of these places that I do on the channel aren't necessarily even breweries that you could find at your local store. You know, some of it is about finding it at your bottle shops. Obviously, it's much easier for me to be able to go to a bottle shop and buy a 6-pack or a beer here and there, singles from breweries that are near me. But some of the places, like I said, with Rake here, I'm wearing the shirt, you know, Rake, they don't even they do like can releases out of the tap room. And, you know, that's cool on its own right. But if you want to try most of their stuff, you got to go in there because it's really limited to be able to, you know, for them to be able to do canning runs. So, yeah, absolutely. I'm all about, you know, if you have the means, if you have a car and you have, you know, $20 in gas, well, $20 in gas may be dating me, but $20 in gas, driving a couple counties over and trying, like I live, you know, pretty much halfway between Detroit and Ann Arbor. So in Ann Arbor, we have at least 10 different breweries that are, you know, pretty decent. And then Detroit has its own little group, and then everything in between. You know, so everything in between could be, for me, like I consider Drafting Table, Ascension, um, you know, Batch, uh, Brew Detroit, Holmes, Townies, Grizzly Peak, Wolverine, any of those places like are in between for me. Canton Brew Works, Liberty Street, Liberty Street Brewing, Supernatural. You know, there's so many places for me to go that's what this is all about, bringing all this stuff to you guys. So if you can even just drive a couple counties over, there might be a little concentration. You know, maybe you live on the west side of the state, and you can say like, hey, I want to go to Ron Barn. I want to go to I can't, you know, Broadleaf, or I want to go to Vivant or whatever. That's what it's all about. Let's see. Modern Times coffee variant. I like being about an hour from Ohio, snag stuff that does not have Michigan distro. True, very true. I was thinking on my way back from Atlanta, saying like, I need to just take maybe like once a month or once every couple months, just drive to Toledo or drive maybe to Bowling Green or someplace and see what I can pick up that we don't get here in Michigan. All right, let's see. Highest ABV you can produce in Michigan. I don't know if there's a limit. Like, I know that with Ascension, I've seen stuff that's like, they say on the label it's 18%. It could be higher. I don't know. I know that New Holland 20th anniversary, which I have somewhere here, they did a bomber that was 20%. I think I have Tank Bender, which I think it's over 20%, but it could be really close. North Carolina's 15%. 300 craft breweries here in Michigan by now. Yep, absolutely. Ascension's 18. Yes, Ascension has definitely had 18% and over. Leslie has a cider company and a craft brewery in the works. That's awesome. Sibling Revelry, out of Cleveland. Yeah, there's so many places that, you know, I mean, like I said, I'm like an hour from Ohio, and there's so many places. I wanted to stop. There's a place when you drive down 75 and you cross right after Cincinnati and Covington. There's a place called Uncorked, and I don't know if it's a chain or if it's in like just an individual like place. I don't even know what they have, but we always drive by it. And I see it. I'm like, man, we should have stopped. And this time I'm thinking to myself, I should have stopped, but I spent so much. I spent so much on all this beer and the trim tab stuff that I picked up. Yeah, I mean, you know, from just so much stuff that's out there. All right, well, Randy said I couldn't stop the stream until I finish this, so I'm going to let the chat go. I'm going to read through the chat every so often. Hopefully not bore you guys too much. I appreciate everybody that's come on Friday night. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. This is a little bit, this is only for this, well, maybe not only for this stream, but it's January 3rd. It's 11/17 right now that I'm looking at this. If anyone is interested, and you guys have stuck around most of you guys have stuck around the entire time, I am going to do a giveaway. And it's not just some chintzy, like I'm going to give away a sticker or I'm going to give away, you know, something. So what I'm going to do, for you guys that are still on, I'm going to leave this open for anybody that watches up until the end of this weekend, which is going to be Sunday, January 5th. I have something that I'm going to give away. I'm not going to play this up. Maybe you can see it. What I'm going to do is I have this Holmes Ghost glass. They did a glass, a Tiku glass like this. I just opened the box. Here's the box. They have a Tiku glass that they did for one of the releases, like maybe 2 releases ago, and it said Holmes on it. And it was this exact same design. It has a bunch of these little, like, they look like ghosts, like ice cream scoops. And it is, you know, it said Holmes on it. Those are glow in the dark. This is a second release. This is about $16, a $16 glass. I'm going to give this away to anybody that, this is not the glow in the dark glass, just to get this out there. This is not the glow in the dark glass. I'm going to give this away to anybody who emails me at Sean@drafttherapy.com. You can see it right over there. Whoa, right over there. Woo. So if you email me at Sean@drafttherapy.com through the 5th, I'm going to send you this glass. I'm going to pick one person at random to send this glass to. What I want you to do is in the subject, put Holmes glass giveaway. And I want you to give me feedback about the channel. I want you to tell me something you'd like to see more of, maybe a beer that you've really enjoyed, you know, in 2019. Just give me some kind of feedback. Give me some kind of something you'd like to see in the future. Basically, some room for me to grow. And that's my kind of gift to you guys for 2020. You know, like I said, you guys have stuck with me for a long time. I really appreciate it. Some of you people have been watching for a few minutes now. A few minutes. I've been on for over an hour and 20 minutes. So I just appreciate your guys, you know, everything you guys help me with by watching the channel, by sharing with your friends. Just send me an email at the email listed right here, Sean@drafttherapy.com. Just give me some feedback. I'll pick one person at random to send this glass to. It won't cost you anything. I'll cover everything. I'll cover, obviously, the price of the glass. I'll cover the shipping, all that stuff. So that's my gift to you guys. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it, and I'll even send you this awesome commemorative box. But I just appreciate everybody watching, all the, all the comments, all the side emails. You might not comment on the videos, but I've gotten a lot of people that have, maybe on Facebook contacted me, or on Instagram, on through email, through my website. I just appreciate all that stuff. And so yeah, email me at sean@drafttherapy.com. Just give me some feedback, constructive criticism, with the subject line draft there. I don't even know what I said before, but just, if you send me an email, I'll use that. I'm going to take the email off the screen now. I just appreciate all you guys watching, commenting, liking the video, sharing with your friends, coming on the chat, coming on live stream, chatting with me, chatting with everybody. I want to make this a big community. I want to make it something that we can all kind of watch and just really, enjoy the different videos. I love coming out to breweries and meeting you guys. If you see me in a brewery or at a festival or whatever, come up to me. I love talking to you guys. It's really one of the most awesome parts about doing this. And then I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go back with the drink prompt. What are you drinking? Let us know in the chat. Randy says I have to finish this, so Atlanta's going to be down next. Atalanta is down. That's probably the hardest one to drink when it's been a little bit warm. So this one next is going to be Enchantress. This is a 3 Taverns craft brewery. That's a good beer. The cranberry comes out a little bit more. It tastes really Christmassy. Actually, the more that I drink it, as the warmer it gets. Robert in the chat says, Carrick Marathon in Sydney, Ohio boasts as the craft beer capital of Ohio, and they have a lot of cool stuff. I was really surprised. I didn't expect much from Ohio, and I went to Columbus a few years ago and went to some, I don't even know what the place was. It was like a pizza place. I had a pizza alone by myself as my kids went and saw, American Girl or whatever. And they had so much stuff on their tap board. And the year before, I had done like a beercation kind of thing on the west side of the state in Grand Rapids, and went to Vivant and Oddside and Grand Armory and Schmoes and Founders and a few other places. We went to like 7 places overall. And I was like, oh yeah, Ohio, they don't have a lot of beer. And they had so much stuff. I was really just blown away by with, how much stuff they had. If there are Ohio breweries that you guys want to see, I mean, like I said, I'm down to travel to Ohio to pick some stuff up on occasion. I just noticed that the more, when I do these kind of out-of-state things, they don't seem like they gather that much attention. And even some of the Michigan places don't. And what I want to do, what I like to do is do smaller breweries, do larger breweries, go in between. I want to showcase the founder stuff. I want to showcase the Bell stuff, the short stuff, the Oddside stuff. But I want to get the supernatural. I want to get, I want to get places like, I can't even think right now of other places, saying like, oh, I want to get Creston. I want to get places like Batch or Brew Detroit or Motor City Brew Works, or places like that. So I like to do that, and I know it's not all about, this is YouTube where, obviously this is about getting views and all that stuff, but it's not all about that either. But it's nice to be able to do that stuff and get exposure to those places that don't necessarily get a lot of attention. So Randy says, well, Robert, he's finishing off a 6-pack of Sapient Trip Ale. Actually, Tyler and I did, was it Sapient? It was like, I don't know, it felt like it was 10 years old. It was really old Sapient Trip, and it was really good. Like, it still held up really well. Randy says Cleveland has a great scene. Yeah, Cleveland does have a great scene. That's a place that I probably should hit and, you know, check a few places out. Maybe do a video on it. I don't know. I did a video that I never edited and never really finished up. It was kind of like drinking around the world at Epcot in Disney, because Epcot, if you haven't been there recently, Epcot's, it used to be like all the places in Disney now, all the different theme parks at Disney now let you, they have alcohol at most places, but for a long time, Epcot was one of the few places that had beer, and all the different countries they have around the lake, you can go and try these different beers like all over the place. So maybe I'll edit that video. It's about a year old because it was from, yeah, I think it's from last year. I had a thing that I was going to do and I never put it together, but maybe I will now. I don't know. With GoPros and everything, it makes it a lot easier to be able to carry it around. But you know, I'm not immune to being self-conscious about, you know, filming myself and hey, how you doing? Draft therapy, blah blah blah. But maybe I'll put it together. And Randy also says, stay at Brewdog. I thought about staying at Brewdog, but the thing with Brewdog, the hotel that they have there, is it's really obviously very beer focused, but you have to pay for you're paying pretty premium prices to stay at Brewdog as it is. But you also have to pay for you know, they have the keg on, you know, they have the keg, the tap in your room. It's like a growler or something that you have to pay for all that beer that you drink. Like you go in, they have a mini fridge and it's stocked with Brewdog stuff, but you have to pay for all that, and that kind of stinks. Like I'm paying pretty top price for staying there, and then it's like, you gotta pay for all those beers. I thought the Pabst in Milwaukee, I think, they've converted one of their old factories into a hotel too, and that sounds really cool. So we'll keep it posted. Maybe for my birthday we'll go there. Tyler says, yeah, I think it was 2013. Yep, that was, and he has more. Good God, it's yeah, it was good. It was really good. So, anyways, back to the beer. We're at the Dirty Dirty. That's what this one is. And it is a 8%. Just to remind everybody that has maybe joined late, this is a chai, coffee, milk stout from Three Taverns Brewery in Decatur, Georgia. I did this last year, around April, I think. It was the Beers of Florida, and that's a place I'd really like to visit again. One of the places that I really was super, like, highly impressed by in Florida was right outside Tampa, and it is called, I believe it's called Hidden Springs, and they do like a crazy, like the beers they do are really out there conceptually. Like the one that I did in that video, in that live stream, was like a Chipotle sour ale of some sort, like a Gose. It was just, it blew my mind how crazy it was. They had, and I tried one in January, it was called ZFG, 0F given. And that just blew my mind. Like I had to go back there, and I think I still have a crowler of their beer in my fridge from last April, so. Coming back to this, to the Dirty Dirty, the chai coffee milk stout, it actually, the flavor has changed a little bit. It has opened more, I'm getting more of that kind of milk stout flavor out of it. The coffee's still really subdued, but there's so much cinnamon in it, in this stout, that it is reminding me of something that I had recently, and I can't put my finger on exactly what it was. Something I had recently, but I can't, like I said. So anybody that's watching right now, have you watched my top 10 Michigan breweries? And I'm just curious, not a lot of people commented on what their top 10 is, but can you give me a couple out of your top 10 that really just kind of, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be new, it doesn't have to be something like a brewery you've never been to, or some new brewery, or but new to you. Like, is there anything that you had last year that really kind of blew you away? And is there anything in 2020 that you're really looking forward to? Like anything that you're really just, as soon as it comes out, you're going to go pick it up? I'm always kind of curious to see what you guys think. I know that this year, last year we saw like a really big resurgence in lagers, and I'm wondering if we're going to see a lot of lagers this year. We always say, or you might see people talk about New England styles being like the thing, and I know that's kind of on its way out a little bit, and that's like the hazy boy kind of thing. And crispy boys is one thing I've seen a lot of, and that's the lagers, the pilsners, those kind of lighter beers. So let me know if you guys see any trends maybe necessarily happening, or any beers that you're looking forward to. They don't have to be trendy beers. Maybe it's something, maybe like I said before, maybe it's the Mas Agave grapefruit from Founders. Just anything that you guys are looking forward to. I'm just really curious. We're going to go back to the chat. Pete says Funky Buddha in Florida is nice. I've had a few Funky Buddhas, and I really enjoyed the few Funky Buddha I had. I know they sold to somebody big. I don't remember who it was. Randy says, your mom on French toast. Your mom on French toast. I think I have a can of that. Ton Uno Janes says, got to try Creature Comforts, and they're in Athens, Georgia. Yes, they are. That's Trinonia here is a Gose out of from Creature Comforts. This is the only Creature Comforts that I was able to try, unfortunately. That was a place that I'd heard so many great things about Creature Comforts. It was a place that I wanted to try more of, but unfortunately that's the only one that, Tropicalia, the IPA. Forgot. That's Creature Comforts. I tried that and really enjoyed it. Scofflaw was another one that I really wanted to try. We're going to go back, and because Tyler mentioned it, I'm going to go back and say, whoa, that's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, what you drinking? Let me know. Let everybody here know in the chat. And he is drinking a Bright White from Bell's. I had a Bright White before I left, and Bright White is, Winter White from Bell's is one of my favorite beers that gets no notice. It's just kind of it's there, and people, I like Winter White. That's great. That's a beer that I could drink all the time and think like, this is legit. Like, this is top notch. And when I had a Bright White, it reminded me that yes, this is still top notch and this is still legit. We got Grusha6 saying, I am looking forward to the new Mas Agave variant. Yes. I'm curious to see what they're going to do, because Mas Agave was so good this year that, sometimes you think like, how can you outdo yourself? And it's like, I'm curious to see how they can outdo themselves. Maybe it's still going to be the same. I still have to do my 2019 Founders Barrel Age Series Roundup. That's one I need to do, a video I need to do. And I think Mas Agave, I only have one left, and it's somewhere, and I just don't know where it is. Pigeon Hill, Rocket Popsicle from Untitled Artist. And it's like drinking Smurf piss. I've only tried a few from Untitled Artist, and I've really actually enjoyed everything. Do they only do collaborations? It seems like I had Juicy Bits, like a Juicy Bits kind of Untitled artist kind of deal with them, and the Ascension Rosé that they did, and it seems like they do almost exclusively collaborations with people. Pete Johnson says seltzer. Yeah, seltzers. Yeah, it's. I think it's everywhere. I've tried a few, and the ones that I really enjoy, and I'm probably gonna in 2020 bring a few seltzers to the channel, but I want to do Michigan seltzers because Atwater's in Detroit is doing seltzers. Griffin Claw is going to start doing seltzers. Ordoc in the UP and Marquette has done some seltzers. I can tell you the seltzers that I really like are the ones that don't use, they're not like the malt beverage ones, because there's, excuse me, the White Claw kind of thing. Those are malt liquors, and they taste like a, I don't know, like a vodka kind of seltzer drink. And I love vodka. Well, I don't know if I love vodka, but I like really good vodka, and I don't like those because of that vodka kind of taste to them. But the ones that use actual sugar, like I think that Oradoc uses, like I think that Griffin Claw uses, those ones have been pretty good. Those are ones that I could see myself drinking. But the ones that are malt beverages that have that more kind of like artificial sweetness mixed with a vodka kind of flavor are ones that I'm not a fan of. So those will not rate very highly, at least in my book, but that's me. Creature Comforts Reclaimed Rye. I would like to try that. So want to drink Pliny the Younger. That's supposed to be bottled this year, supposedly. Whether or not we're going to get it, I don't know. And Grisha6 says he's stocked up on Masa Agave. Yeah, the thing with these beers, I mean, like all the founder stuff, it seems like they're going to be around for a while, but you never know. It's one of those things where you go to the store to look for it and just instantly you don't ever find it again. Okay, the Dirty is down. All right, what is this? This is the Monday night Brewing's. I'm gonna like showcase this. It is the Drafty Kilt Scotch Ale. This is a 7.2% Scotch Ale from Monday Night Brewing out of Atlanta, Georgia. And cheers. That's quite different than like everything so far. It's like I said before, it's really light, not super crazy, not really out there. It tastes like a Scotch, but it's not. There's just something off about it. And I had a few at Monday Night Brewing's garage location. Really good, but this is not. I wouldn't go after this again. So, Randy says Brewery Becker in Brighton. They do. He says that they do traditional Belgian style. I've been there a few times, and their Belgians, they do other things, but their Belgians are where they really excel at. It's a style that one that they do very well. I'm just looking at this, and I can like see through this, but I don't know. I mean, it's a Scotch. You should be able to, Scotch ale. You should be able to see through it. I'm not trying to end this thing anytime soon, but all right. Tyler's going to take off. He's working in the morning. And Tyler, thanks for watching. Thanks for chiming in. With KBS available most of the year, do you think that there will be more variants than espresso? And that's from Robert Santana. You know, I would like to see more variants from, KBS variants from founders. I think that, excuse me, I think that with them doing the KBS espresso, that they're kind of more, there's interest in KBS. KBS is always, every year is always a big deal for them. But this year really surprised me with how available it was. Like, I only started really chasing craft beer again in 2017, roughly. And 2017 was one of those things where, like, if you didn't get KBS right when it hit the shelves, you were SOL. Like, you wouldn't find it anywhere. Now it's on shelves all year round. I mean, it's a limited thing, but it's available pretty much anytime you really want to get it. Like, I can go to a store and pick up a 4-pack of KBS anytime, even though I have several 4-packs now. I think that they're really, and I don't know how available KBS Espresso has been. I was able to get a 4-pack And I really enjoyed it. I would love to see them do more variants on the KBS thing as a whole. I think that I think it would be huge, a huge seller for them. Like, they have so many. KBS is so sought after in Michigan, at least. I don't know outside of the state. I've heard stories where it's like, oh, we got these shelf turds sitting out here for however long. But with KBS, at least in Michigan, it's always been this really exclusive thing until this year. But I would love to see them do more variants of it. I would love to see it be like a Dragon's Milk for New Holland, where they have Dragon's Milk, where it's on the shelf. You can get it pretty much anytime you want. It's not super hard to find, but they have these variants that become really limited and really kind of exclusive. I know that there's the push. There's something to be said for being accessible, for something that that you can go to the store and pick up. With KBS being a year-round thing, I think that it would be really kind of cool for founders to be able to do these KBS variants where they do like, oh, we did a marshmallow KBS, or we did a, I don't know, we did a, what would work with that? Like I'm throwing it out there, but like, oh, this is a cranberry KBS. I think it would be really cool to see that on the shelves and say like, or oatmeal cookie, kind of like how New Holland's done the Dragon's Milk. Like, they do triple mash. It's a big deal. It's hard to find. You got to chase it around. There's that kind of like exclusivity about it. But you gotta, the people that aren't necessarily like huge into craft beer, that don't want to chase all this stuff, it'd be it'd be cool to have KBS on the shelf all year round, which they're going to do, but then have the variants available for the people that are really chasing it. Like, oh my God, I've always thought that I wanted this like raspberry KBS, and it's on the shelf. I got to go get it. It would push that brand just a little bit further out there. Yeah, and I would agree with Randy here that says KBS hype is dead. 2017 KBS was insane. It was, yeah, absolutely. And doing more variants. And yeah, I think that they would be really very smart to follow the coattails of New Holland, because New Holland just has so much stuff. Black Butte. Yes, Black Butte. Or yeah, Butte, but whatever you want to call it. I have had Black Butte. It's really good. That was a beer that, when I saw it here on shelves, it took a while for them to. They're out of Colorado, I think. So it took a while for them to hit shelves here. But trying it, that's a really good beer. So I am on my last one. This is the Wild Leap Transcontinental. I'm sorry, ETA Transcontinental IPA. Hey, I listen to the viewers. Can't take me anywhere. I listen to the viewers when they want something. I give it to them. So I have to finish this one before I can finish this live stream. And this is the last one that is on the docket. So this is Transcontinental ETA Transcontinental IPA from Wild Leap Brewing Company. Like I said, I will be doing a Wild Leap video review in the next couple weeks, because it's one that really impressed me quite a bit. Cheers. If you weren't here earlier, what I said about this was, it's really very similar to kind of a, I don't want to say run-of-the-mill, but it's very similar to a run-of-the-mill East Coast or New England style IPA. Nothing really crazy. Brandy says I'm lit. In the chat, I'm not really lit. Like, I'm all right, but I'm stumbling a little bit. So yeah, it's nothing super crazy, nothing really to write home about, but I don't know how prevalent the New England or East Coast style IPA is in Georgia, Atlanta. I know that when I went to Tampa last year, I want to say April, everything was either, and it blew me away that everything in 80-degree weather was either stouts, like really crazy stouts, or sours. And there were like IPAs, every place, it seems like everywhere else around the country, IPAs are king. And everybody goes to a brewery and they order the IPA. But in the places that I went to, Arcane in Tampa, uh, Hidden Springs, and the other place was Angry Chair. Angry Chair, obviously known more for their stouts. Everything there was it was all obviously stouts and sours. Like there were very few IPAs amongst all those places. Arcane had like one IPA, and Hidden Springs had like one or two. But so I don't know how prevalent East Coast IPAs and New England style IPAs are, but this is really pretty. I mean, it's standard. It's not anything to write home about, like I said before, but it's not anything that I would slouch at either. It's pretty serviceable. If only, like, with a green screen, it was see-through. Then you could see my hand behind it and all crazy stuff. So once this is finished, we're going to end the live stream. If there's any other questions, I will answer any other questions. If you joined late, there was a giveaway. You'll have to go back. You have to find it. I don't know if I remember what it was, but there was a giveaway. And this has like a big, I don't know if you can see that. Whoa, there's like a big nugget of residue. There are a few, actually. All right, we're getting to the last sip here. Finishing up. Again, thanks everybody for watching. I really enjoy doing these live streams. It's nerve-wracking at first to get everything set up. Make sure the audio is working. Make sure all the lighting is working. The angle looks like it normally looks. A lot of burps here. Getting everything, coordinated and making sure that my furnace doesn't turn, because I'm in the basement, so making sure the furnace doesn't turn on like in the middle and drowns out everything else. It's nerve-wracking for me. Like when I posted something on Facebook and wherever else I posted it saying I'm going to do a live stream, it was like, okay, it was an all-day thing getting everything ready. But I really greatly appreciate you guys chiming in, you watching, contributing to the chat. It's been a really I don't know, it's just really sobering, like really gratifying kind of thing to talk to you guys, to be able to bring you guys all this beer information, be able to go to different cities or whatever. And I just want to kind of reiterate, if you live in a state, you obviously I do a lot of Michigan stuff, but you might not live in Michigan. You might live somewhere else where there's a big craft beer scene, or maybe there's not. Just check out what's around you. There's so many bottle shops, or so many breweries that are doing stuff that are just kind of maybe a little bit off the wall, a little bit out there. And it might not be to your liking, but it's just all the experimentation, all the just different ideas that people bring to the table. It's really kind of impressive and sobering and kind of just cool at the same time. So let's see. Anything else? Pete, good night, everybody. Good night. Thanks for the content from Robert. Continue to watch no matter, unless I start reviewing Budweiser. I got to come up with an April Fool's review here, Robert. I mean, did Natty Light last year, so I got to come up with something. So if you've watched this far, you're about, what, like 2 hours in? Almost 2 hours. I might do something crazy like that. But we got Randy here saying thanks for the live stream. Gonna play some video games. I might play some games after I'm done with this. Who knows? And cheers. So yeah, everybody, thanks for watching. As always, drink craft beer, support your local breweries. As I always preach, wherever you are. And most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Rewind if you missed the giveaway. The more email, just give me some criticism. You know, give me some critique, give me some information. Let me know what you want to see. And I'll hopefully fulfill all your wishes. Until next time, treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. Cheers, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Later. Ending the stream.